keepers of the flame of the violet planet on earth. I am your Omritas, and I am welcome in this place by violet flame leaping from the ground, about to become violet flame flowers immortals. Because you are, and because you keep the flame of the seventh ray on earth, we of the violet planet may transmit over the figure 8 spiral from our sphere of light into the earth body the momentum of our service on the seventh ray on the violet planet. So long as the violet flame is tended on earth, so long shall we be able to multiply it and thereby forestall the intensity of the impact of mankind's own returning karma. Thus, I greet you in this new year as Earth cycles are counted, with an expression of gratitude and a torch of opportunity. We are come then, legions of angels, and of course, the 144,000 priests of the sacred fire of the violet planet, whose names unknown yet numbers having been sung, remain to you a concept of a cosmic reinforcement of sacred fire, not unlike the priesthood of the order of Melchizedek. For you see, beloved ones, even the order of that priesthood and Melchizedek himself did have their point of origination in this sector of cosmos upon the violet planet, and all who have become a part of that order have spent some time with our evolutions and legions of light, even while in embodiment, for those who are so endued with the spirit of cosmic freedom, those who have such a fervor of devotion to Saint Germain, qualify themselves automatically to receive our ministration as well as our invitation to be guests in the chambers of our retreats upon the violet planet. Therefore, welcome, old friends and new, children and those preparing for the return to the infinite light. For wherever you may be on the path of grace, know that the moment and the hour does come when, by your service to the seventh ray, you may take a retreat of rest and recreation in the light with our planet. Blessed hearts, we are not far removed, but we are not of this physical wavelength. Therefore, you will not see in the heavens a violet flame body and planet, but by the very pressure and presence of the violet flame in your aura, you will feel and know our evolutions, servitors of light, elementals of tremendous stature and attainment. And do you know, beloved, that when you feel them and understand their support, you will come to the realization that each and every one who does abide there from the three kingdoms of the sons of God, Elohim and archangelic, all are dedicated to the endowment of earth with the full gathered momentum of our violet sphere. Year upon year, millennium upon millennium, we attend, therefore, the coming of age of the children of the sun on earth. We dare not endow this planet with our momentum in the state of discord and darkness, perpetuated by the fallen angels. For to give them the violet flame is to give them the key to longevity, eternal youth, and immortal life. Even when you invoke the violet flame, we stand guard to seal it and to dispense it to those who will not take freedom and the violet flame as a liberty to desecrate life. Thus the violet flame, as any other flame of the sacred fire, when contacting misqualified substance of the human or fallen angel creation, does also activate that negative karma. Thus, as you give joyously the calls to the violet flame, know that we stand guard, and there is a cosmic science that does attend through angel attendants all evolutions of all spheres, who begin to understand the science of the spoken word, and who become so fervent and zealous in its use that often their decree momentum and the mastery thereof does exceed their mastery of their emotions, feelings, thoughts, words, and deeds. Therefore, beloved, each time there is a victory of God mastery within the individual and a balancing of chakras, of the threefold flame and of the four lower bodies, there we find a more secure abode for the release of a greater and greater momentum and intensity, not only of the violet flame, but of the pure white fire, sacred fire itself. Thus understand that reservoirs of violet flame invoked by you do exist even on this planet. They are sealed in openings in the mountains beneath the surface of the earth. These violet flame reservoirs are held, therefore, for those hours and moments when individuals whose hearts are pure in their allegiance to God truly have need of this power, wisdom, and love, this presence of our God, who is a consuming fire. The day will come then when, according to the just and holy and righteous judgments of our God, this violet flame shall also be released, but it shall be done according to cosmic science and cosmic law. Our concerns, therefore, as we enter this year, when, perforce, world karma does increase, as the water levels of the astral plane also rise. Our concerns then are how to increase transmutation without violating cosmic law and the dispensations that have been forthcoming in the proclamation of Alpha and in the words of Gautama Buddha. Therefore, know, beloved, that the violet flame can increase mightily through the hearts of all light bearers. The Holy Christ Self is in God control, and therefore, beloved, you cannot invoke too much violet flame. A sufficiency is released to you physically, portion by portion, but the Holy Christ Self does keep a mighty reservoir of light. Therefore, in the days and hours of thy need, flood tides of violet flame may descend. In so far as the light bearers, the keepers of the flame, daily are transmuting their karma and building magnificent auras, concentric spheres of the many faceted colors of the violet flame, there is a message that is beamed to all the earth. And those who have not used the violet flame, those who have not come into the understanding of that flame, begin to realize that that presence is the key to physical survival. The violet flame is the most physical flame, and it does correspond to the earth body. Inasmuch as all dispensations and support forthcoming have been confined to the light bearers of the earth, we must see then how every single light bearer may become a sending station of violet flame in all 7 chakras and the secret chamber of the heart, through the hands, through the feet, through the spleen itself. Therefore we set before you the goal of letting all of thy life and thy body, thy temple and thy being, to become a violet flame sphere. As you so commit yourself to this action, beloved, you will understand swiftly that it is necessary on a commensurate level to increase the blue flame and the spheres of blue flame, and to never neglect the putting on of the whole armor of God, which is undoubtedly a physical, spiritual protection, but does consist of all of the virtues intended to be outpictured by yourselves. Virtues are like studded stars, gemstones and crystals that have been sewn by angels to your garments. Virtues exemplified by the Blessed Mary you may see in the gemstones upon her hands. Blessed hearts, these virtues are your protection. They are the basic building blocks of good character. As El Morya has referred to this, I shall also say, neglect not the perfecting of the soul and the purity of heart. When you examine motive, beloved, sometimes you will suddenly be ashamed, for you will realize that some deed rendered to another was in fact self-serving. Some who have not received praise, affection, or compassion in childhood have a need and a desire to be approved of by others, and therefore, in that starving for approval, they will perform all manner of acts and deeds, not in the purity of the love of God, but in the desire to be seen, to be looked upon, and above all to receive someone's friendship, someone's kind word. Blessed hearts, one may look upon psychology and momentums developed from childhood, but one ought not to be so taken up or taken aback by these conditions. Remember, there is a ball of wax of the human consciousness, and remember that from the hour of thy declaration with thy twin flame to be the immortal one, there have been organized false hierarchies to defeat thy Christhood. They would, if they could, in each lifetime, undo the full gathered momentum of thyself in God. Self-esteem and integrity, a sense of independence, a sense of strength and power, that in standing for principle one may stand alone, but one is always all one with God. As life proceeds and one witnesses the futility of compromise, there is a return to the strengths garnered in previous lifetimes. Beloved, understand that those who have wronged you in this life, or who may have wronged you, are one and all triggered as tools of the sinister force, for the demeaning of oneself, for the debasement, for the lowering of one's vibration, and of course, the ultimate trap, self-condemnation. I speak of these things because they all inhibit the intensity and the increase of the power of the violet flame within you. One may, in true humility and not false humility, admit before God and one's friends one's errors. But this is not an ongoing process. Once confessed, forgiven and forsaken, draw the line and re-enter thy Christhood. Do not forevermore be tattooed with the sins of the past, as though these are a stain that can never be erased. We seek the remolding of consciousness of self-awareness, for the patterns, the habit patterns of human consciousness would endure far beyond the day of the transmutation of the very actions which established the human patterns in the beginning. It is as though one had utterly transmuted all of the noxious poisons of the weed of the field, but had not put to the torch the weed itself. And as the tree has grown crooked and gnarled, so may the individual be at the astral level. Blessed ones, the violet flame can penetrate bone substance itself, to render supple again all of thy body and inner being, to be remolded in the fullness of the stature of Christ. You are not creatures, prisoners of habit, but you must know this, you must see it, and you must not let the enemy take a victory. When you know you have put behind you momentums of the past that are no longer a part of you, do not let past individuals in this or previous lifetimes get the victory over you, as you retain the residual momentums of reaction to those circumstances when you knew not the fullness of the law. I give you a very stern message without prolonging any further this comment, that you must look at your momentums. You must study the teaching on momentum given to you in the lost teachings of Jesus, as well as in the Corona class lessons on the subject of habit. You must put down those momentums and recreate the new momentum. Where there is a groove in consciousness, fill it in with light and begin again as you would be, as your Christ self is. Do not wait until the breaking of the mold of this lifetime to recreate yourself in God. It is a daily rejoicing to know you are a co-creator with God, and with the violet flame, all things are possible in God. The violet flame truly allows you to perform as it were a cosmic surgery, and this is never by a momentum that may be fed into the subconscious by all of the popular tape recordings that are available to you as to how you can become a better person and overcome procrastination and all manner of burdensome addictions. Blessed hearts, these tapes are for those who are computerized and do not have a threefold flame. They are for those who have merely a human personality that has built upon itself incarnation after incarnation, without integration with any flame or spirit of God. Therefore, all the world is gone after the latest fad in consciousness development, in the success fad that is now at hand. And it is indeed a success fad, beloved hearts. Be not trapped or entrapped, for I would tell you the cosmic secret that every ascended master dictation that has ever gone forth through our two witnesses upon earth does contain within it the power of Elohim for the recreation of oneself. It is not without forethought that we have released to you the Only Mark series. It is not without consideration that we have made available to you, year upon year, the audio and video tapes of our dictations. Once you have carefully listened to them and consciously entered into that spiral and consciously made the decision to incorporate that teaching, that sacred fire, that cup of light into your being, until you have willed thereby to become a manifestation of your higher self, When you have accomplished this and taken your notes and thoroughly consent by conscious free will to the content, then know, beloved, that conscious consent has involved your Holy Christ self, your threefold flame, and your I am presence. At that moment, then, you may play these tapes in your home. You may play them in a special room or even in the background. And you will be weaving, by the repetition of the sound, the word, the rhythm, and the teaching, your deathless solar body. This is with a conscious cooperation and recreation in God. Blessed ones, anything that comes from the human level, no matter how positive the statements are, does always embody the entire karma, electronic belt, and subconscious of the individual through whom they have come. This is why we have released to you in our decrees worded cups of light, mantras out of the pure octaves of spirit, out of the causal bodies of the ascended masters. The decrees then are the most valuable gift because they are cups of our God attainment, of our conscious willing to be free on a certain ray through a certain chakra over a certain human or dark condition which we face and which you now face. Decrees are the highest prayers on earth because they are dictated by the ascended masters, save for those which may come down through the eastern tradition of the Himalayas from Sanat Kumara or Gautama Buddha or Maitreya or the true adept and ascended master, beloved hearts. That which is in your decree books does become to you the access to the infinite light. It is only by conscious entering in to this worded mantra that you are a conscious creator with God and recreate yourself not only in matter as a human personality, but you are recreating yourself fit to dwell in the octaves of spirit, weaving that deathless solar body. Therefore, in a time when so many come with their wares, offering you a means to attainment, mastery, success, and money, personality and glory and friends, relationships and conquests in male and female activity, beloved ones, understand that you have been given and provided with all that you require to make your ascension, and to do so swiftly at such time or in such an hour when you may be called. And that day no man may knoweth, save the Father and the Son. Blessed hearts, realize then that those who sell their wares in the programming of consciousness do so with a tremendous momentum of knowledge, of advertising, of their subliminal messages, their subliminal seduction, as it has been called. This is not so with our ascended master activity. We lay before you a table in the wilderness, and on that table then are the most magnificent fruits of paradise and all manner of meats and substances that are assimilated at all levels of being. These are offered to the wise and those who know, to the disciples and the initiates who perceive that there must be a profound reason and purpose in all that we do, and who do not miss the opportunity to enter in to that tremendous aura that does enshroud with light all those who enter in. Thus, I come then to speak to you of our concern of the year. How then to diminish karma in the earth, how to allow the light bearers who have the dispensation to account for planetary momentums as they send forth the violet flame for transmutation. Blessed ones, where people continue to repeat their old sins and abrogations of the law, it is not possible to continually douse the fires of hell with a violet flame. The violet flame is a principled cosmic action. It does move in as God himself, as Archangel Zadkiel himself, to consume the errors of the children of the sun who have gone astray under the influence of the fallen angels, the false gurus. It is a flame of forgiveness accorded by the Father to his own. It was not the gift to the seed of the wicked who plotted the death of that children of the sun. Therefore you see, beloved, if you send forth violet flame for the transmutation of conditions created by the seed of the wicked, those conditions may not be transmuted according to cosmic law. For these fallen ones and those who have gone after them as idolaters must suffer their own karma. For these have never bent the knee. They have never bowed to the Lord Sanat Kumara. They have never admitted their wrong. The only wrong they have ever admitted to is a miscalculation of judgment, whereupon they did not succeed or get away with their plots of darkness. Therefore, beloved, if you spend your time sending violet flame in defense of the cause of the Watcher or the fallen ones, or the schemes they have perpetrated against mankind, you may therefore deprive the light bearer of the fullness of the measure and also enter into a karma-making spiral. Therefore heed the dispensations and know that it has been spoken, it has been said, and it has been written, that there is no dispensation forthcoming to the evildoers who continue in their antichrist activities. How then to increase light? Beloved hearts, to call for the violet flame to expand in the hearts of all those who give their devout love and allegiance to the Godhead. This is wisdom. And inasmuch as millions and millions of barrels of violet flame, as it were, as barrels of oil, coming as a balm of Gilead to the children of the sun, are necessary and needed, I am certain that you will not run out of the necessity to give the calls for all who are the servants of God in the earth and who truly have espoused a path of doing good to others, helping others, and being positive individuals in society. Thus, beloved, by that increase of the violet flame in all who are of the issue of God, it is our vision and our determination that planet Earth shall have a greater momentum of the violet flame to hold up the tent of America, to hold up the nations. In this way, beloved, those who come into the violet flame by your calls will also come into the vision of their I Am Presence and their Holy Christ Self. And they will begin to realize that the hour must come, and the hour is, when the seed of the wicked must go down. Inasmuch as they have implanted themselves in the structure of civilization itself, it is inevitable that in some quarters and in some levels, major change take place. You have seen, therefore, the signs in the heavens and the signs on Wall Street of conditions in the economy that do not augur well for America or the world. You have seen the frantic and frenetic movement of those who control international banking and the money systems and the currencies of the nations, moving almost in a stepped-up film in fast motion here and there and everywhere to create more money to stop the inevitable descent of karma. Blessed ones, think how ludicrous this is. Can paper money forestall the karma of the seed of the wicked? Thus, we counsel you again to remember the safety in gold. We counsel you to consider wisely how you shall use those funds that are already in your hands, and how you will not plight your troth with a money system, with an investment system that you cannot control and that you cannot trust. I trust that all of you have put behind you the days when you have used your decrees to call for the raising of your investments or your stocks. Understand, beloved, that it is in some respects wishful thinking, because it does interfere again with the karmic law of those who are in controlling of those stocks and those corporations, who do not have the good karma. In bygone days, many of you have sent good light after darkness and fed into such corporations a momentum of your light. Thank God for the Christ discrimination of your own holy Christ self, who has not permitted it. For without this mediatorship, many of you would have made serious karma by sending light into quarters where that light is of no avail. For the law of God has spoken in the beginning, and it is written in the annals of Enoch, that this watcher must come to naught, and that the Nephilim gods are judged in the end, as well as their offspring and their giants. To see the end then of the era of the seed of the wicked is to behold the dawn of a golden age. Know then that as you call for the judgment of a civilization of Cain and of the fallen angels, you must be prepared to see the consequences of the call, and therefore it is necessary to buy time for yourselves and for this community. So the cycles of the elect have been extended as Saint Germain announced it. Understand then, beloved, that the securing of oneself by the violet flame is powerful, even as the violet flame judgment is powerful. The very violet flame in the earth is a judgment of the totalitarian movements and of dictatorships. When you stand before the altar of God, therefore, and demand the judgments of the fallen ones, whether in Wall Street, Washington, or Moscow, you must understand that at any moment and hour, your calls may become instantaneously physical. And you must ask yourselves, are you ready for that physical judgment to descend? And I dare say that most of you are not prepared for what the Lord God is prepared to deliver in answer to your calls. Therefore, our recommendation to you is that you accelerate the seventh ray consciousness, for that seventh ray momentum of violet flame in your auras will literally make you a part of the etheric octave, beginning to become a part of the higher sphere. And if you will journey and travel then to that chamber of the cave of violet flame, you will also come to the realization that you are indeed day by day becoming part of the fire itself, even as the seraphim of God, who are a part of your being and do pass through you daily as you call to them. What a grace and gift of mercy, seraphim and violet flame angels purifying you and preparing you for heaven's ascent. Blessed ones, secure in the violet flame means to be secure in the earth and in the earth body and in all ways that pertain to the physical body and its needs. This must be the first order of business for this entire year for keepers of the flame. Let us see then 24 months dedicated to the absolute physical survival of keepers of the flame. Cycles have turned at inner levels. There is an acceleration of the evil intent of the enemy. Do not cease to call for the judgment of that enemy, the enemy of oneself, one's own dweller on the threshold, the enemy of nations, as the international capitalist communist conspiracy. But remember, beloved, that all the while the call is being made, the cosmic Christs and the great silent watchers with your own holy Christ self, by the computer of the mind of God, are taking those calls, locking them into a fiery coil, prepared to release them when and at such time the cosmic council does so decree it by events in the earth. That which could precipitate untimely war or cataclysm or economic collapse is the absence of violet flame in the earth. We see then that the answer of our call to the messenger to send forth violet flame song and decree tapes does become a means of the awakening of all souls on the planet. Let all who hear these tapes then awaken, whether to everlasting life through the seventh ray dispensations of the age, whether to everlasting contempt as they gnash their teeth against the Holy Ghost and the sound of angels singing and of voices of saints and of keepers of the flame decreeing. Blessed hearts, so it shall be, for the fire of the awakening of the age is indeed the violet flame, and as you embody it, you become, without any question, the instruments of those angels who come to awaken all. For they must be roused that they might make their choices, and in so choosing determine whether to the right or the left they shall stand, midst the tree of life or midst the darkness of death and hell. Blessed ones, anticipating and seeing what the new year shall bring, I counsel you that those keepers of the flame who take the violet flame as the most necessary security in life will indeed survive, endure, and conquer. But those who neglect, once again, as some have neglected our words in the past, they will find that the tides of human karma shall sweep them out of the way, and they shall be helpless to face the adversity of that which is coming upon the earth. The violet flame is the key, and the love of the violet flame does unlock that secret place of the Most High shown to you last evening. And that chamber of the Royal Teton Retreat is indeed a place prepared for you, beloved. And therefore I, Amritas, would tell you that in answer to my call, the messenger has assembled here these focuses of amethyst crystal. They are as silent sentinels at the altar. Each one does bear an elemental of the violet flame who has been a part of the building of these crystals. They are assembled here as the silent guard of the gnomes of the earth and the rock. They are assembled for you. For all of these violet flame crystals that are upon this altar are here for you, to take with you at the conclusion of this conference, on the condition that this violet flame crystal be upon an altar dedicated to the Great White Brotherhood, as the centerpiece, as the chalice. That this altar have above it the chart of the I Am Presence, that it have Jesus and Saint Germain, that it have upon it the image of the two witnesses who stand for you in the night and in the day, in the physical and in the spiritual octaves. To this you may add your favorite saints, or the statues of those whom you love, such as the Lord of the world. If you will keep this altar in a place where other activities are not going on, such as television or the playing of rock music or social activities, if you will keep it sealed and use it as the place of your invocation, I can promise you that the violet flame will increase and increase and increase in these chalices of crystal. Understand, beloved, then, that when that altar is sealed, and it may be very small in a closet, when it is sealed, then you will know that an altar sealed and tended daily does have a momentum that does build. Blessed ones, the search to find this amethyst crystal resulted in the acquiring of all that was available at the moment on the market. Thus I have so instructed our representatives to continue to assemble amethyst crystal to be placed on our altar throughout our conferences, that you might have with you a living crystal charged with the devotions and the holiness of the violet flame angels of the violet planet. Remember always that your heart is the violet flame heart of Saint Germain and Amritas, if you will it so. That the key crystal is the threefold flame and the beating heart. Beloved ones, I pour into this our chalice, our messenger, a gift of violet flame, sealed in the physical and in the higher octaves. And therefore, by the authority of the Cosmic Council, we do send her on a mission to Europe, one final mission then, so selected to be Lisbon, Portugal. And therefore to that place shall she bear the living violet flame, that the light bearers of Europe those who may come to these shores and those who remain might be given an extraordinary impetus of light in this day and age to yet retrieve that continent. Blessed ones, as Saint Germain has no further dispensation for that continent, and as the dispensations may be given only to the light bearers, so, consistent with that cosmic edict, we do send her there to celebrate the Ascension Day weekend of your own beloved Linello, as he shall pour forth from his own causal body the gift also of the violet flame. Thus, beloved, that which has been in the heart of the messenger and the keepers of the flame of Europe for a long, long time does open in this year, and it is indeed a bright spot, sealing then Pisces, sealing then Aquarius. I tell you, beloved, the victory of the light on earth can come, for there are sufficient light bearers to hold the balance in world change. May you not underestimate the need for planetary alchemical transmutation. The chemicalization in the earth is for the purging of all ancient records. If you begin to consider the transmutation of the records of Lemuria and Atlantis, and all of the evil perpetrated by the fallen ones, and then you realize that their connections are to the entire physical cosmos, you will no longer wonder or doubt what we are about, for we are about the grand conflagration of the matter cosmos. Let earth then be the spark that ignites a cosmos with violet flame, until all is consumed that is unreal, and the matter cosmos does stand again to be the chalice of the spirit cosmos, and heaven and earth and spirit matter come into the divine union, and all those who have Christhood may stand at the nexus of the ascending and descending currents for eternity upon eternity upon eternity. Inasmuch as they have chosen earth for the battleground, so we draw the line here, and we with you, beloved keepers of the flame, do stand on that line with the lords of the seven rays, the line where light meets darkness and swallows it up by the all-consuming fire of God's own seventh ray. In this seventh day of creation, it is recreation by Elohim of the all. Now hasten to be God-centered and know that when you are in the eye of God, you shall experience all things and retain permanent integration in the permanent atom of being. Onward, to the Mount of Ascension, to the valleys where souls must needs be rescued. Go forth, O messenger, go forth, O staff of the messenger, go forth, O keepers of the flame, stump America and stump the fallen ones. We are with you, millions of angels strong, therefore fear not, but remember, the mantle and presence of our Alpha be upon you always. By the sign of the violet flame cross of fire, I seal you in my amethyst heart. Beloved, let us sing our gratitude to the karmic board, great karmic board. Say the number.
$413.
And let us stand and rejoice and give a rousing shout of acclamation to our Om Ritas.